Okay, so I got to pause this. I got to pause this as they're both playing the same song. I did a final test before I was here ready to gush quite hard over the new 910s and 919s. So these are Fostex. All right. It's been a hot minute since, we talked about Fostex with the T50 and the new T60. And the prices kind of went up, and it kind of put them out of a category where it's like, oh, just pick up a T50 or T60. So now we've replaced the 900 and the 909, which I own the 909, and I brought it down here. I don't know where the hell it went. That's fun. But I've been using the 909s like recently without having known that this was a thing. And I've been using these since they arrived. And I can't explain to people hard enough how good they are. Because I've been a huge Fostex fanboy of the 900 and the 909s. I bought the 909s. But there's always been problems. Very specific. You know what? I gotta go get... Let me go get my goddamn 909. 1 second. Thanks to the magic of stopping the camera, I was able to go upstairs and grab my 909s. So, these, which you can see I'm running on the FIO UTWS5s with some adapters, because these use the very, very, very unfortunate Fostex 2 pins, which are... Get the fuck over there. They're very well secured, I'll put it that way. Ugh. They look like this, which looks like Sennheiser connectors, only the polarity is inverted, so you can't even just use a Sennheiser cable. You'd use specifically a Fostex cable. And I know because I know a bunch of cable builders that these were $70 a set, which is dumb. And so 2 years ago, I met the new president of Fostex, Tony Tanaka, which sounds like a made-up name. And I might use that next time I need to make a reservation somewhere. But I met him at a show. He knew who I was. I knew who he was. We talked. He showed me his drivers. I said, hey, please stop that. And then they started sending me things. Once you meet the president of a company at one of these shows, they're all like, oh, you. And so eventually I get a letter. Dear Steve-san, here comes the brand new sound for the TH910 RP Mark II and TH1100 Mark. Now, I haven't been given the okay to review them. Well, they're up there. But, so I got a set of 1100s. You saw me review the 1100s and the 1000s. And they're all treble. And that's these guys here. But then I got another set with this letter. And it said, I hope you enjoy it. And it's greatly appreciated if you give us feedback. Or Facebook. I don't know, one of those. Then in blue, the actual ink color changes. By the way, it comes with 3.5 millimeter plug connector, which I promised with you from Tony Tanaka. And that was back in April. I begged that man. I made him understand. Please, just put a 3.5. Just please put a 3.5. So guess what? The T1100s, the H1100s and 1000s will come with 3.5. And you're fucking welcome, world and internet. These 910 and 919 also come with a 3.5. Pop the bottle of champagne. I did that. So, let's move on from, okay, everything that... There was a problem with old Fostex was old Fostex. This is old Fostex. And while it's very pretty, and this one's a little bit like needs to be buffed, and you can see the clear coat's not quite holding up like the new ones are. But these were the 909s. These are the ones I purchased. I think I paid $1,100 for them, and they were like $1,800. But the thing about the old Fostex, and this is old Fostex, is they use this headband, which they had been using for generations. Let's put it that way. And there's nothing physically wrong with it, but it's like, all right, can we not do this? Because there's no padding up here, really. There was no, like, comfort strap. And if you notice, these are Yaxi pads on here. I think Yaxi. Because the pads always sucked. On the 900s and the 909s, the pads sucked. And so you'd get these wonderful Japanese, expensive fucking headphones. And you'd have to change the pads, and the top headband would be kind of uncomfortable, but you really couldn't do anything about that. And then the wire would suck, because the wires were only 1/4 inch, and you couldn't even get a balance cable. And if you did, you have to get a special plug-in connectors. And these things, I'll link to these. They have the old ones, make great, because they make it 2-pin or MMCX. So there was problems with this. And there was nothing like deathly wrong with it, but it's been the same repeated nonsense forever. So let's put those down now. And a lot of these changes we saw on the, oh, please don't fall off of there. We saw on the 1100s, 1000, but now let's look at them on the because because these are the big boys. Because these things are now $3,000, and this is like $2,700. At least that's what it is on Mimic. Mimic Audio has them both. $3,000 for the 919, $2,800 for the 910s, and for some reason Thoman's has the 910s for $3,200. So I wouldn't buy from them. And the original old school 909s, used $1,900, used $1,700, new $2,250. So they're just something to chew on. Is that these old ones are going for over $2,000. So the fact that the new ones are like $3,000 is. I'm pretty sure Fostex, being Japanese, heard the tariffs were coming and literally just immediately did the book work to correctly tariff price it. That's why the T50s and T60s are so fucking much money. But we have officially fixed on this revision. The pads are remarkably soft and supple and good, and you don't need to change them to change the sound. But that was one of the things, was you change them on there to try to soften up the sound. Because the 909s specifically were like a little bit, unless you tube-preed them or tube-amped them, it was like still like, but it was good enough. And you put the Yaxi pads on and to fix that. And then the wire, you changed out the wire. And granted, I am not using the stock wire because I wanted to use my Magic cable, so that's promotional right there. But the new Fostex cables, while this one is a 1/4-inch jack like the old ones, you can get them. You can get them in 4.4. Look, that's an official one. I literally popped a bottle of champagne. I'm not joking. When I opened these up and that was in there, I stopped what I was doing and I opened champagne. And then I got totally wasted on champagne. So we fixed the pads. The pads are now fine. Like absolutely live with these forever, fine. The headband system, the whole system has been adjusted with a much bigger, much more stable left and right. These are beautifully machined. I can't tell. I think they're plastic, but they kind of feel like weird space plastic. You've got the leather up here that crinkles when you open it. And then if you look at this head strap, we've got perforations on the top and then just like this suede on the bottom. And by the way, this is serial number 1. I think Tony Tanaka likes me. And we've got 3.5 millimeter plugs. We've got 3.5 millimeter fucking plugs. Hallelujah. They're not perfect though. The sound, we're going to get to the sound. If you're interested in the sound, jump ahead. I got timestamps. But as far as these mods, which they obviously needed to update them. And by the way, I haven't touched that with my human hands yet. And I was actually asked if I could bring these to SoCal because Mimic didn't have them. And Mimic's like, hey, we haven't gotten our set. Can you bring your sets to like, we can show them off. And you know what I told him? No. Because humans shouldn't touch this. Because this is, whenever I get a headphone from like Meze or from ZMF, it's always special. But it's special and then I put it on a table and I walk away. When I unboxed these, it didn't feel special. Especially when I got serial number fucking 1. Is it written on the box here? No, it's not. It was written on the other box there. Serial number 1, number first one ever, first one there. And I have been so respectful of this that like I found this case, which I think DeConey sent me this. Yeah, they used to keep HG. And it was like, oh, look at that. This Slappa case, if I could find Slappa with the beautiful interior. I haven't let these sit on a table. Every time I'm not using these, they go back into the case and they get zipped up so dust doesn't touch them. No touch. There's no touch. That is so fucking rare on this channel. Like I can't even explain it to you. Like look at these. The 1100s are blue and they're just like, they're fine. They just stack them up. Just keep stacking them up. I've got 5 of them, by the way. Because 2 are the original ones. Then I got 1 and they're like, no, we changed the tuning and then we changed the things. So I got 5 of these things and I will eventually get the review done if they ask me to. If this is the final tuning. These are also great. And these planar versions are actually cheaper than the new Dynamics. But the new Dynamics have always been their flagship. This is, when this channel began in 2013, 14, and I had no idea where it was going to go and this whole thing was going to happen. It was quite early on. It was in like the first 3 years. I was loaned a set of TH900s. The original 900s, the attached wire 900, the Mark I 900s. And they smelled like a basement. and the pads were worn. I think they were modified pads and they were worn, and it had a balance connector on it, only a balance connector on it. I think someone had modified that too, and they were, as of that moment, the best headphone I'd ever heard. And that was hashtag goals. And do you want to know how I know that this was a long time ago? Because I let my little brother, who he's not really into audio, I let him hear them. And he's had this itch in the back of his head since then. And literally like 8 or 9 months ago, he bought a used set of 900s. My brother, who doesn't give a shit about audio, he's like, all right, I understand this is better than that. He bought a set of TH900s because they were that good. They were that much. And it wasn't just like, oh, the sound. If you don't know how they apply this to it, if you don't understand what this is, you're never going to understand why these being like under $3,000. They're fine. The ZMFs are fine. Meze headphones are fine. Tungsten headphones are fine. These are works of fucking art. There are artisanal people, and I'm a weeb, but there's a Japanese man somewhere who's literally putting actual silver flake on this, and then brushing it with a little brush, and then they're spraying it with the red that comes out of the saplings that Fostex owns the fucking forest, and they spray it. Don't fucking put your hands on them. I've been doing my best not to touch them. These feel special in a way that only Fostex can do. Only a Japanese company making Japanese headphones in a very Japanese way can do. And it's about fucking time the sound caught up to the specialness of the build. It's been a hot minute. I think everyone can agree that old T50s, old T60s were extremely flawed headphones that once you gave them to Mr. Speakers, Zach from ZMF, or Ryan at Modhouse, you got argons and whatever the hell Zach's original one was. But Mr. Speakers was founded on modifying Fostex headphones. Fostex couldn't tune a headphone for shit. They couldn't. But would you ever want to not have argons be a thing you could purchase? No. Think about how many T50s and T40s I got and then immediately change the pads and add the head strap and change the wire. This represents the first time the entire Fostex headphone line is perfect and worth the money without modifications at all. And what you see here is the final straw, because Luca Stragnoli's Madness, which sounds like, hold on, wait, there's too many headphones piled up. Yeah, it's just him and a acoustic guitar, and so what I've got going on here is I was listening to these on everything, and I've enjoyed them on everything, but I wasn't sure if that was just because I was in love with them or because they're absolutely amp agnostic. And they're not agnostic. What they are is, and anyone who's ever owned old Meze will really take this to heart. If Meze made a $3,000 dynamic, you would hope it sounds like one of these two. There's a reason I'm doing them both at the same time, by the way. It's not just because, they're the same series, it's the 910 and the 919. They're dampened nearly the same. Like, this is a closed back, but Eris is a closed back, yet you can still hear. Like, you put it on and you get like a 5 or 6 decibel dulling of the world. It's the same with the 910s versus the 919s. They're dampening these open backs so much, and I don't even know where they're venting this, or the cup is just so thin. If I put these on, like, I can still pretty much hear myself speaking. I can hear noises in the room. These are not a closed back. Like, hello? It's fine. If I take these off, keep in mind nothing is playing, and I put these on, maybe there's like 1.5 dB maximum difference between the acoustical blocking. So they're essentially, you're not buying, I want a closed back to block out the world, or an open back to let in the world. They're the same. They're fucking the same. which should be a negative point, but we'll just leave it at that for now and you could figure out what it is. So what you're actually doing is you're investing in the slight sound differences. And when I plugged it into my phone and played Luca Stragnoli's Madness and I've got 3 things set up here. Well, technically 4 things. I've got the Valencia coming off of the Golden Sound Theorem stack with the settings off, and I have to make sure of that. And then I had this Valencia hooked up to the K15, but I'm like, you know what? Was doing this, then separated it, then made it so this was alone, then made it so this was being preamped by the Solaris, which is the old $5,000 German tube amp, which has preamps. So I'm like, well, I was plugging this into the front because that's a tube. That is the tube amp. The tube amp. The things that these used to need. Things that fucking needed was tube amp. And if you plug these in to tube amp, they sound glorious. And if you plug them into solid state, they sound glorious. And if you plug them into my fucking Sony phone, it still sounds glorious. Old school Meze. New Meze, Empyrean 2, amps matter. It cares. The impedance or whatever they're doing, the driver will literally sound worse if you're not using good equipment. Old Meze, those elites that are back there, I could plug it into my phone, into my shitty little Sony fucking 3.5 output, and it would sound as good as Meze Elites. And I think I can happily say to everyone here, if you plug your $3,000 919s in to any little shitty Sony phone and hit play, let's just go. That is a terrible song, but that's not. By the way, they're blasting. I'm at maximum volume, and these are as loud as I'd ever take this headphone. And that is a weak fucking headphone amplifier. But the main question always is, could I sell this headphone, this speaker, this subwoofer on this crappy source? Or would I feel like I really need to give them like the full Monty to get someone to experience? No, yeah, this right here, you could sell a $3,000 headphone on my fucking phone. So as much as the amp will change the sound, it's never worse. It's like it's get off me, bug. It's like if the quality was going from, let's say, 0 to 100, and 100's the best it could ever sound. The worst this will ever sound on the worst amplifier possible is like 91%. So yeah, you can get that extra 9%, but it isn't like when you plug something that's really demanding into a shitty thing and it gives you like 61, and it's like, oh, this can't produce any bass and it's crunchy. This doesn't fucking care. It doesn't care. Instead of sucking dick for so long, I will say the thing I wish he would have asked me about. That's another thing, is like, because they added 3.5, but look where they added them. It's basically the same spot as the old connector, but the old connector was shorter. It was only like a ½ inch long for you people who would do centimeters. I don't know, do the math. And then you had these kind of short things. So now this is like 1 inch long. It's like double that. And then the wire has to start. Now the wires themselves are a little bit shorter when you get Fostex, but that still makes it like there. And what they could have done, since they're just dealing with a metal ring here, is they could have taken this out. They could have twisted that around and put it so that there was a 3.5 like angled on the back. Just like every other modern fucking headphone that doesn't do that. I'm looking at you, Omega. You're doing it wrong too. Omega does it wrong. Eris does it wrong, but Eris is $250, cheap. And it doesn't get in the way. If you're wearing the headband straight, this is coming out far enough. But I would love if it came out just a little more forward. Instead of that, I want that. Either slide it forward or fully detach it and do like the slightly angled back thing. Because it's just an add-on they strapped onto the metal. So it wouldn't have been hard for them to like re-engineer this entirely, which they already had to do, and just not have it coming out. They didn't want to make new holes for where this was, is the problem. If they made a new hole here, they could have angled it a little bit more. That's my only problem. The bag, look at the bag. I actually, here, you want to see something funny? I folded the bag before, and the bag is so airtight it actually becomes a super soft pillow. Like what is this material it's made out of? It's so nice. The box was also pretty plain Jane, which I'm glad to see they fixed the embossing experience. That was always a problem. You get a Fostex outside box, and inside there is a Fostex inside box. When you open this up, you are presented with the headphones themselves, not wrapped in plastic. I will say that these, though, the cups were wrapped in a very fine paper to protect the finish. So I do approve of that. It felt so fucking special, like unwrapping that to expose that finish, which I do color correct these videos because I am an artiste and I have no clue. I may have to do custom color correction profiles to try to grasp this red. Do I have more lights? I need more light, pilot. More light. Clamp, perfect. Perfectly linear. Like, look, you watching this? There's no more stress pulling it this far as there is pulling it this far. It hits like an end and you're done. The sliding mechanisms are fucking precise, as you would expect from a Japanese headphone, unlike the other ones, which kind of got a little wobbly, a little wonky. There is just the smallest little rubber square right there so that this hits it and doesn't go clank, clank metal. Like I said about the pads, there's this very thin mesh here. Oh, and then you see a white Fostex driver under the metal. And that's just like, you weren't white. They weren't bothering with you guys. Well, actually, you've got the, what's it called, pads on. No, you were whatever you were, and shit. Let's had the little locking, stupid locking thing that I got to now put back on. Actually, was a white driver in there. Look at that. I would have never noticed. All right, put you back down. I'll deal with you later. Yeah, I may just have to sell my 909s. And I love these things. I really did. But they were always a compromise. I knew putting them on the UTWS5s and using them outside was A, baller move, but B, not the best they could sound. Because they don't sound good, like properly good, unless you amplify them properly good. And so that's always been that's why they never come out for testing. Because half the amplifiers that are good amplifiers would just sound like shit on those. And guess what? These would probably not come out for testing, because if my fucking phone sounds like the most phenomenal thing, well, they're not going to expose problems or anything. So let's get this off here. I'm tired of not listening to them. This might be the longest I've gone on a review without actually listening to the thing I'm reviewing, because I don't have to. I know I live these fucking headphones since they arrived. All right, like the pattern on the back of that, which is a little more intricate than the pattern on the back of this. You could see how little they've actually opened it up. I was going to put them on. But like, look at the size difference in that. All right, we're going to have to get on the sound. So I'm going to put this down. Again, shake the table, see if it's going to fall. Nope, everything's good. Cool. I'm going to plug. You're already plugged in to the K15. You're the closed. You're the 910s. Let's plug this into my brain with the beautiful Maja cable. Now we're doing Valencia, preamping here. There is the slightest little hum of tube because this is amplifying everything. And even at $5,000, tubes are fucking noisy. Let's get off of Nuka Stragnoli. Let's mute you by just switching to preamp because you're not going anything. I mean, Max Cooper resynthesis 3D binaural version, which sounds like this big echoey. All right, sound. Are you ready for fucking sound? These are some of the softest, most luxurious sounding headphones I've ever heard. And that might scare some of you away. But that's fine. Fuck off. We don't need you here. Anyone who thinks expensive headphones need to be like detail cannons, like I use 1266 as an example all the time, or LCD 3 or 4 or 5, where those headphones, think they need to be murderous to be expensive. Like, oh, no, you're spending money. You need to hear everything. This headphone, both of these headphones fix every song in my playlist. I've been listening for a while, but I was sitting here listening for a while, just hitting next track on my entire playlist, waiting for the song that sucks. There was that one song came on my phone that was kind of like, but that's just a bad song. But all my other songs that have like minor, like, I could tell they're not. I literally just today, I did the other review of the big IK Multimedia iLoud Precision MTM studio monitors, $2,000 studio monitors. And the thing that those things do is every song that's kind of bad, you're going to know. As soon as you play, something's wrong. And these headphones, opposite. I don't know if Eminem When Bad Meets Evil is a poorly recorded song, because everything it's doing sounds fucking amazing. It's got a width and a warmth and a space and a precision of imaging, and the treble is just so toned down, but not missing. Like, there's a effort, man. Fucking effort was put into the tune of these headphones to make them sound like you're getting every bit of that song and none of the shit you don't want to hear. It's fixing my music. And then when you get to something that's like Echoes of Brazil, Badi Assad, Pixaim, and it's this, and you're just enveloped. It's one of the most I was pretty sure these are my favorite headphones within the first 2 days. 2-3 days, and I didn't really put them on the break-in rig. I haven't had to, because I don't trust my old Tascam to not just randomly blow up and kill everything. But I mean, if it's an IM, I don't give a shit. If it's another headphone, I don't give a shit. These, special enough to just break them in on my good equipment. Just let everything run and be safe. And it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I've got two headphones here, and I've got to explain why you would get one over the other. And gotta switch this off of pre. It doesn't matter. I think these probably should cost more. They're a little bit clearer. Like, the opening does allow the sound to change, even though they're dampened the same. You're not getting these to block out your kid screaming, and those will let your kid screaming in. They're both going to let your kid screaming in. But the tonality changes just enough. Whereas the closed back version, which I am using off the stock cable unbalanced, feels a little bit more close and intimate. This one just spreads it out a little bit, like. I was hoping I liked the closed backs more than the open backs. And the bass. Because before Eris existed, yes, I'll suck my own dick a little bit more in this video. Before Eris existed, which is the bassiest headphone because I said so, until the drop near comes out and then people actually own it, that is still the one you can buy. I used to know for a fact that the TH900, the original 900, was the bassiest headphone. It was the bass king. But that was like 8 or 9 years ago. Like, this channel is only 13 years old. That was within the first 2-3 years. So a decade ago, TH900 had this reputation of being like a really bassy headphone, but then the treble got all weird if you didn't get in like specific tubes or specific amps. These headphones, both of them, have some of the best low-end reproduction of any headphone available in the world. Period. You know how I know that? Because I've heard every headphone in the world. And I will have a Manus in this channel. And Jack Woo's going to throw me a 33 so I can direct drive it. We'll make fun of the memes when it happens. But that alone, it's like when you remember something and then you go and revisit it, like as an adult, when you saw something as a kid, it's not as good. This is the opposite. This is like if you went back to your hometown and you went back to that old arcade, and instead of it being worse than you remember, it's so much fucking better than you remember. Or it's exactly as you remember it as a kid. All the games were just as exciting. There were just as many. The ceilings were just as tall. And all your friends were still there. That's what they did with these. It's like they extracted people's memories and hopes and dreams of the TH900 and TH909 and just applied it to these. As I put these on, and it doesn't matter if I'm here or there, and I could do that if I do this, and then I could do this, and then I could do that, and then we're all good here. Like, no matter how loud I play them, they don't sound like they're struggling ever. And I'm not saying play loud. I'm just saying in the old ones, when you turned it up, you died a little bit. It damaged your hearing just a little bit. And with these new ones, they don't give a fuck. Plug this back into here. What, around 21 there? Good. Plug this into Golden's one right here, and we hit play, and all of a sudden it's like slightly narrower because not tube, either tube pre or tube directly. Slightly narrower than that. And that's with the open set, which is already slightly wider. So it's just like, it's like, you know when you watch someone fall in a video and your balls go, ugh, that level of bass. It's just, I want to slam my hand on the table to like I usually do, but there's so much expensive shit stacked up, I'm not going to do that. So just pretend I'm like, do they got the slam? They got the slam. They're an exciting, clean, clear, wide, warm, beautifully made, absolutely meticulously tuned, perfect fucking headphone. I think of all the headphones you can buy that is not my era, so I'm biased against that. I take one of these two. And I don't know if it'd be the 919 or the 910. I had put up this review for a couple weeks, actually, even though they're telling me to do it, because I didn't know which one of these I liked more. I was unsure. Let's unplug the Fostex cable, which, look, we could just... And it's a nice cable, too. Like, it's thick, but it's soft, and it's flexible, and it's satin. Like, And look, they even made these super small, and there's a red ring around it, and... And this is still nice. It's not that mirrored finish like the old ones had. And you do the right wrong roll up of them. Just fuck. And now let's unplug this, and we'll take this out of here, and we're gonna plug this back into here. Look how fast I could change the plug with one hand almost. All right, we're gonna go tube preamped through Valencia. Get these seating. Try not to touch the wood. I think the bass... Well, I mean, this is also because Valencia is probably pushing... this is 17 watts a channel, and these do not need that. But we're preamping it. I put chokes in the back between this and that. I probably like 10 dB chokes. I think this captures the bass a little bit better than the open back. This is more rumbly than this. This is very clean and tight. And this, I don't want to say it has more bass because they both have equal amounts of it. I feel like if you're in it for the low end, you get the close back. If you're in it for the soundstage spacing and just more normal usage, get the open back. I still don't know which one I prefer more. All right, I'm stuck. I need to. This is a fucking Grand Theft Auto commercial. And it just sounds so good.
Terms are running scared.
Like that was a run, and then there was like a chorus on both sides. Like, what the fuck? So I think since Tony has taken over Fostex, and he, by the way, he shows up to almost all the shows. He couldn't make it to SoCal this year because he had like a family emergency and he had to divert from an airport. Presidents of companies like that don't usually show up. Like Zach from ZMF will be there. Dan Clark from Mr. Speakers or Dan Clark Audio will be there. But those are small companies. Fostex is fucking not small. Fostex is big. And the fact that the president shows up to talk to the people who are buying the headphones and listen to their advice and put 3.5 millimeters on it when some random Gaijin says that would help a lot, that's remarkable. And it's a great example of what all companies should be doing. I mean, you'll see Antonio Meze at the big show. He'll show up to Munich, but he won't come to California or New York or Dallas. He might go to Dallas. There's good barbecue there. I know Antonio Meze likes to pick the best places to eat. But like the fact that Tony is everywhere where his headphones are, because he's so excited to show you the new driver or the new, oh, check this out. It shows. His excitement shows. Now that this review is done, or almost done, I have to figure out what I'm doing with these. And by that I mean, where am I putting them so I can use them more often? Because I don't need to. Once the review is done, I don't need to do anything. I can just take them and shove them on the wall. Oh, look, there's the FIO, FA7s. Great fucking headphone. By the way, the 3.5 is in the correct spot. FA7 is the greatest example of where that fucking wire should be. But they're on the wall. Great headphone. They could stay there for a couple months. No fucking way. I'm going to have to bring these to places with me to let people hear them. Like my brother. My brother's going to hear the 909, the 910s, and he's going to fucking weep because his 900s are not this good. I have this right here and this right here. These are nowhere near as good as these. The price jump is absolutely fucking justified. From a sound-only perspective, where the old ones were a bit picky and they were a bit twisted and a little bit like, oh, you can get them to sound like great, but like great. These are, without a doubt, as good or better than the Focal Utopias, than the Joels, than all these other $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 headphones that float around. Would I take them over tungsten? They're a different sound than tungsten. Yes, tungsten is a very capable headphone, but tungsten is also trying to be a very pretty much neutral headphone. It doesn't have any real like flavor. It's just all detail and affordable detail. And when the bass hits, the bass hits. But it's not tuned in a way that's delicate or refined or just like this has a flavor that is solely what we all remember Fostex being and just haven't gotten. I'm going backwards. I need to go forwards. Purity Ring Sea Castle. Just, it starts out and there's like this bouncing left and right of the music, and then she starts singing and it's like she's right in front of me and perfect. There's zero harshness. There's zero anything wrong with them. Fuck. I hate doing reviews where I can't shit on something, and I can't shit on something. The man hand wrote me a letter saying thank you for telling me to put 3.5s on it. Like, I will give things a pass. The original 1100s, 1000s were like real treble focus, like absolutely not for the normal people. If you go watch my review of those, the original ones, the Mark 1s, that was about as don't buy these at all, but okay, if this. These, I have no qualms about anyone buying them for any reason. I like the color red. Fucking buy a set. I've got $3,000. Grandma just died. Buy a set. Buy a fucking set. Buy the 910s or buy the 919s. Slightly more slam and more wood, or slightly more open sounding with a little less bass. That's it. That's the only difference between these two in sound. They have an equal amount of that fucking cream. That Japanese fucking cream. Put that on the box. I have to stop the review or else it's going to be a million years long. Yeah, bravo. Somehow Most Improved Headphone Award goes to Fostex for this. And it was the same on the T50 and T60. If you've ever owned original T50, T60, blow the whatever the hundreds of dollars are to get the new versions, the Mark IV T50 or the Mark II T60. And there are closebacks coming for both of those, by the way. Because if you get that upgrade and you're going to be like, this is so expensive, fucking borrow it, return it, whatever. The difference between the original Mark III T50 and the new Mark IV T50 is the same difference between the original 900 and the 910 and the 909 and the 919. It is a league better. These are actually no fucking adjustment needed, no fixing, no modding. Perfect. Touch fucking nothing. If you can get them with the balanced cable, I'd recommend that over the 1/4 inch. I got one of these with the 4.4. I think you have to special order it. But just gonna mod your cable. I'm now gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna have to figure out when I'm starting to do sound demos again, and then I'm gonna use those speakers to modify the sound demos, and then I'm just gonna enjoy these. Again, the problem being, don't fucking touch them. Even I don't want to touch them. And they're basically going to stay here until they ask for them back. So they're just like, don't fucking touch them. Don't touch the finish on them. They're too goddamn pretty to touch. They did remove the word Fostex. Oh my God, that's a fingerprint. Oh my God. Panic. Has this been cleaned lately? I literally have not had to wipe these yet, but there's a fingerprint on it, and I'm going to be very mad. If you want headphones that you are this concerned with their like, that's another thing. I don't really want a car where I'm like, oh my God, a bird shit on it. I kind of want to use my car and abuse it. That's not these. These are cherishable headphones. You get them, you put whatever system you want before it. Tubes will sound a little bit softer and wider, but it doesn't really need it. This will sound a little more focused, but it doesn't really care. You get these and you fucking cherish them and be happy. Be happy. I wasn't sure what Tanaka-san's taste in waifus was, so I picked the glasses and the red shirt. So anyway, buy these. If you're actually in the market for like the highest end headphone you can I'm done, Zeos. I want to get out of this fucking hobby. Zeos gives you full approval to grab one of these over like an Empyrean, over a Joel, over the tungsten in certain circumstances, and those circumstances being, I want to run it off my fucking phone and have it sound just as good, because tungsten ain't going to do that. I'm saying words. And by the way, the review of the Tungsten 2, TOO, will be up on Patreon soon as well. Because I got to explain to everyone what the hell that thing's doing compared to the other thing, So yeah, Patreon and subscribe to support this channel. And so does Tanaka of Fostex fame. But mostly you guys. So if you want to see reviews early, participate in yard sales, get to lossless sound demos, you can join my Patreon or Subscribe Star for that. A little bit more money, higher end tier. You get into the patronage chat where you get to ask me questions directly on my phone. You're in a group with like 120 people. And once you're in that, you're in a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear, which might be where those end up. Instead of putting them in the yard sale like I do, I might just sell those privately in the swap meet. Because I really do like, those have meaning, but man, are they just fucking destroyed with these. Just destroyed. Everything I've ever wanted is right in front of me and no one has to worry about it. It's unfortunately $3,000 US. So I'm done. You're done. We're done. Check out the sound demos when they come out, and I will see you in the next one.